You hear that? That's the awkward silence of a family dinner after you just got caught vaping. Most vapes contain high levels of nicotine and disappointment. Brought to you by The Real Cost and the FDA.
Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss show. Hold on for a second. Okay, I don't know whether or not you guys can hear my fan. If you can, I do apologize, but it's a little warm outside, so yeah, the fans have to come on. But anyways, no, I overall wanted to talk on a video game that I actually talked on not too long ago, but I kind of blended in an episode with it. You know, like there was an episode where I was doing during that alphabetical order challenge where I talked on the video game Overwatch. Now, I've been a long time player of Overwatch. I played Overwatch, I can't remember if it was the day the game came out or if it was around the time the game had came out, but I do remember playing it. I still remember, I probably even still have like the first video that I recorded of myself playing Overwatch, and I think it was like the game, like I think it was something had to do with the screen. Like I think the screen just got like mad dark for some reason, and I don't even know why. Like it was just weird. But let me see real quick. So I did that video. All right, so yeah, I did a video. It was like May 28th of 2016 where I talked on how I got Overwatch, and I assumed that was the first video that I did. Let me see, release date May 24th. Oh, so I had got mine's like a few days later and things. That was probably because I was working in Seattle at the time, so I was like, nah, let me go ahead, get this first check real quick, and then yeah, go and buy this game. But no, so I remember playing it back then, and it was fun. Like no, like I remember there was at a point in time where I got like a little addicted to that game because of how fun it was. But then eventually I moved on to other games because, you know, I feel like with me, maybe if Overwatch would have came out like some years prior, like maybe when I was in high school, then, and if it was one of those games where I was sitting down playing with my friends a lot, then I could see myself playing that game for a long period of time. And even now, like as a content creator, you know, I know people probably look at it as like, okay, well, you got like all this content that you can do with Overwatch, which is, you know, what I agree on. Like, no, I can do a lot of content with Overwatch. Like I could do challenges, getting achievements, all that stuff. But my issue is that there's not enough to do. You know, like I get like they're trying to be in that same ballpark as like a game kind of like Counter-Strike a little bit. But at the same time, it's like, we have Counter-Strike, all right? If we want to play Counter-Strike, then we will have to go out, get a gaming PC. Now, I guess if you're trying to be the console version, then okay, you know, that's cool. But at the same time, eventually, and the thing is what frightens me with Counter-Strike, because I know they are going to release another one. What frightens me with that game is that nothing's going to be done to it. Like all they're going to do is change up the maps and all that stuff. So I will play Counter-Strike 2 or whatever it's going to be called when it comes out. But the thing is this: if it ain't a game that I can see myself like sitting down and playing a lot of, I'm not gonna fool with it, you know. And that's what it was with Overwatch. Was like I played it, it was fun, and then eventually it got to a point in time where I was like, okay, you know, I gotta play something else because this ain't really it and things. And so yeah, it's one of those games where it's like, you know, I played it for a little bit when it came out, thought it was cool, played it some more, and I had to say like that second time around, like, oh, okay, like I like this is cool. And then eventually, I think it was like one of the last few times I remember playing Overwatch, I was like, all right, you know, it's whatever. And the thing is this, like, I think that's why Overwatch 1, talking on that, why it died off, because it was like there wasn't nothing being done to the game. And I'm seeing memes today where people are saying like nothing was done to Overwatch, even when they transitioned it from Overwatch 1 to 2. So that's why I'm like, I don't understand the big, like, Overwatch 2 coming out, because imagine if they decided that, like, God of War, like the second God of War, that just, like, the last God of War game that came out, because I can't think of the rest of the title, but that from Need for Speed to Battlefield, what are some other games out there where it's like, each game is different in its own way? Like, yeah, like, still have, like, the same elements, but change it up, add different maps, like, add just new things that we can do in the game. If there ain't nothing new that we could do in the game, and you gotta understand, like, I feel like with gamers today, if there's not, like, if we're not addicted, or like we have all this like mad, or you know what, no, if we're not good at the game, we don't see ourselves playing a lot of it. And I feel like, with a lot, especially with PvP games, you got a lot of people out there where they take that stuff to the heart, where it's like, no, I got to win this game. So of course, me not really taking it to the heart, but I am playing it, to see where my skill level is at. And then, yeah, if I'm not all that good, then, that's what's going to drive me away from that game, where it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to play a game that I'm not good at and stuff. So I'm moving on. And the thing is that, like with a game like Overwatch, that's what I'm saying, they need to add more to it, rather than like, oh, well, let's just slap, the number 2 at the end of it, make like the colors look a little bit more different and stuff, and then that's it. Like, that's all that we're gonna do. Because when Overwatch 2 had came out, and I played it because I wanted to see what it was like. When I seen that it was literally just the first one, but just slightly different, like, it's one of those things where it's like, you could put it like side by side and not really see a difference. Like, the maps aren't different, nothing's really different. It's like a slight difference. I'm glad that the game was free, and I think they were saying that, where it's like, oh, if you hadn't bought the game or something like that, then it's free. I don't know, but regardless, I'm like, if I would have spent money on a game that was like, it was the same thing as the last one, I don't care what I have platform I would have bought that game on, whether it been Steam, Activision, Epic Games, Xbox, PlayStation. If I would have bought that game and then they're like, oh, well, no refunds, no, I'm getting a refund, because this isn't a new game. All right. And I'm like, that's something where I'm like, you guys, I probably would have been out in like the streets protesting if I would have bought a game and it was the same exact thing. And then especially on top of that, in this day and age where they don't raise the price for video games, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, no, I'm not with that. I'm not even with the fact that the game was free and there still wasn't a whole lot of change to it. Like, that's not good. That's really not good. And that's something where I'm like, I don't know who sat down and decided to come out with the quote-unquote part 2 of Overwatch, but that's not part 2. That's like 1.5. Because the thing is this, like, when I look at so many different games I play, like when I look at Battlefield, Bad Company 2, all the way up until like Battlefield Bad, or Battlefield 2042, those are 2 different games. When I look at Need for Speed Most Wanted, and then Need for Speed Unbound, those are 2 different games. When I look at Grand Theft Auto 3 and Grand Theft Auto 5, those are 2 different games. Now, what was the issue with Overwatch and Overwatch 2? And that's where it's like, did you guys just say like, oh, okay, well, since nothing's really, gonna be different with the game, then we'll just have it free? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, you had no other choice. If you guys wasn't going to, and then what? It was like a update, pretty much. That's literally what that was. I'm like, bro, a company doesn't, or a game doesn't have to add like a new number or a higher number to it just because they're coming out with an update. Do you know how many games I've seen? If that's the case, then Grand Theft Auto 5 should be like Grand Theft Auto 17 or something. But it's not, because it's still the same game. So that's why I'm like, yeah, with them, I'm like, yeah, it makes sense, where they're at. But Overwatch 2, what was that game supposed to be? because I think that's honestly, that's like the true definition of clickbait. Like, they honestly did that just so they can get people to download the game, play the game again, and, you know, just say, brag about like, oh, our numbers right now. But other than that, I'm like, bro, if people aren't playing the game, it's because that there's nothing being done to it. Let me just see real quick how many people are playing this game on Twitch, and it's 19.1 thousand. That's how many viewers they have on the Twitch channel. And it's like, yeah, it was not needed. Overwatch 2 was not needed, and that's why I'm like, that's why that game is where it's at. I'm like, that's the true definition of a game falling off, because I'm like, you guys haven't done nothing to it, and you think by slapping. And I wonder, I didn't even bother to check, or I don't remember how many like viewers the game had when it very first like, not when Overwatch 1, but when Overwatch 2. Like, I don't know how many viewers it had when it 2 came out, but I imagine that, yeah, it was probably at a high number. And then when people start seeing that where there ain't much of a difference with it, then they're like, oh, well, then never mind. I'm just going to go back, play whatever games. Because I'm like, there's all these other games that came out and they haven't, you know, yeah, there's some games like Apex Legends, for an example. They've changed the game, like, since the game very first came out all the way up until now. Yeah, I have to say that they're a little bit slow when it comes to changing up the game, but at the same time, they've changed the game. They've added new modes. They've added, like, different stuff that you can do in the games. I think with Overwatch 2, it's like they just added a few new characters, I believe. Because I was like, there were some characters. That's the thing where it was like, I didn't really play Overwatch 1 before it like, well, it didn't really shut down. There was like, it was just an update. But no, like, I didn't really play. So that makes me wonder, like, so if a person goes out and they buy a copy of Overwatch 1, what happens? Because, like, I don't think they sell Overwatch 1 games anymore. Hold on, let me check real quick. Overwatch 1. Because if they do, then I'm like, bro, that'd be so. No, they still sell it, but my question is like, what does it do? Like, does it, you know, overall? Because I have so it was like a PC version though. But I'm trying to think. I can't remember if it came with a disc. If it came with a disc, I'm like, I'll have to find a computer where a disc tray and see if it works. But no, other than that, it was like the game just automatically updated to 2. So it was like, I was very, very confused by that. I'm like, I'm still confused to it about it till this day, and I'm like, that's not a new game. And I know people are probably like, okay, well, what could they do in order to make it a new game? Well, for one, add new modes. If you guys haven't done that already, because like I said, I haven't really been playing the game recently, but add new modes, add a story mode. What are some other things? Like, just do like a bunch of different activities in the game to where, oh, okay, like, this is a new game, this is different, change the maps up, get rid of the characters from the first game, add new characters. But I feel like that with today, like, game developers, they don't really particularly care about the games that they're working on, and that makes no sense to me, because I'm like, that's like if I were to put out like half of a video because my energy with being a content creator ain't there anymore. I'd imagine that I'll probably get like a lot of like negative feedback when it comes to content, or if I were to do a stream, but I'm like, oh well, I'm not gonna start up no games because I don't really feel like playing a game, but I'm gonna start up a stream, make as much money as I possibly can, and just sit there and just do absolutely nothing. There's gonna be a lot of people upset about that. So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you guys, like, the developers behind Overwatch, you gotta look at it as like, there's something that you're interested in, and whoever is behind it, they only like halfway do it. So how would that make you feel? Let's say you go to a pizza restaurant and they give you an uncooked pizza, and they're like, oh, well, the cooking part's going to have to be left up to you. I'm like, I think there are some places that do that. But let's say you go to a place where they tell you they sell cooked pizzas, but the pizzas aren't cooked. Like, there ain't nothing. Or let's say you get a car and it ain't got no engine. You're going to be like, bro, what? So then they're all like, oh, well, you got to like buy the parts to the engine and then, put in. That's literally what games are today. And I'm like, look, if you guys aren't going to be putting your attention in with, like, when you guys was very first working on Overwatch 1, if you guys ain't gonna put that same type of energy into Overwatch 2, there's no reason to even work on this game no more. And it shouldn't even have been called Overwatch 2. There ain't nothing to about that game. And like I said, it should have been called Overwatch 1.5. Because that's not Overwatch 2. 2, in my opinion, is like, because I'm trying to think, like, I remember when Destiny, for an example, because I had to say that's probably a good example when it comes to, like, games from, like, that first one to, and even The Division. Those are, like, 2 games I played a lot of, right? So with the first Division, because I will be, like, talking on those games, but it was just like I just randomly start thinking of The Division. But anyways, I played 1, all right? 1 is different from 2. 2, it takes place in 2 different areas. Now, yes, the game does play the same, but it's 2 different games. All right, completely different. Same with Destiny. Same, same fashion, but in different settings. Overwatch 1 and 2. Same fashion, same setting, nothing's really changed. Couple new characters, that's it. It was literally an update. Like, that's all that was. If they would have just said, like, I don't know, like, maybe call it season 2, like, I don't think it, would really make a difference in things. But yeah, I just think, like, hyping it up to making it seem like that you guys are coming out with a brand new game, and then it's not. I think that's even more so a reason why the game was free, because I'm like, there is nothing new about that game. So, but anyways, hopefully, they actually do something with that game. Like, add a campaign, bruh. Add, like, some co-op modes, just do something where it's, like, activities where it gives people a reason to go play that game. But even if you gotta, like, take examples from, like, have it where, like, the fans, like, we can create our own modes or something, Like, there's so many things that you can do with the Overwatch name. It's like, I think what they really look for in a video game is, like, if they truly do support that game, they don't care what you guys do to it. But overall, yes, do something different to it. But you guys can add a racing mode. You guys can add, like, a community mode where it's just people just walking around showing off, like, skins or whatever. What are some other things? Co-op mode, story mode. You guys can have it where it's like build your map. Like, there's so many different things. Do something different. If you guys don't want to do what other games are doing, do something different. But you guys got to come up with something. But you can't rely on the fans. I'm like, yeah, I understand I'm doing this episode, but at the same time, you can't rely on me unless I'm going to be getting paid. Then I'm like, yeah, if I get paid, then I'll, throw out some crazy ideas. But other than that, I'm like, nah, bruh. I'm like, that's up to you guys to decide. Y'all are the video game developers, so you guys got to come up with that stuff. If you want to hire me, I'll go buy a journal right now and write down 1,000,000 ideas if I need to. So, but anyways, yeah. Hopefully something changes with that game, because if not, I can see it gets to a point in time where Overwatch, that game, it just, it dies off. And I'm like, they're gonna go from like 19,000 people playing that game to like maybe 1,000. Probably it's gonna get to a point where it can't even break 1,000. Like, I'll probably end up getting more viewers on my podcast, Twitch streams, YouTube channels, TikTok, everywhere else before that game even reaches 1,000. So that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you guys better do something different with that game, because I'm telling you right now, if nothing changes, it's gonna be a lot of upset people out there that invested so much time and energy in this game just for nothing to happen. So, but anyways, and that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're viewing this on podcast streaming service, make sure you follow or subscribe, however it's set up. Make sure you subscribe to one of my 50 YouTube channels. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and Instagram, and Kick at TMossBoss. Make sure you follow my Facebook page. At TMossBoss fan page. And if you're purchasing any tickets from SeatGeek, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. It will knock $20 off your first purchase. And if you're purchasing any energy drinks or sleep drinks from Poggers, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. It will knock 10% off your next purchase. And if you're purchasing any controller accessories from Fatal Grips, make sure you use my promo code TMossBoss. That will also knock 10% off your next purchase. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.